me go ahead and join on my other screen too. That's not the one. This is the one. You know, that's really interesting. I'm not able to get on Wi-Fi.
Okay, seriously, I promised somebody I would help them do something.
Oh, so brief. Okay, cool. So feel free to speak up, take yourself off mute. We are going to discuss some iBuyers today and collaborate a little bit. Let me share with you guys kind of the background, why we're in the room we're in today. Over the past couple of weeks, a handful of agents from both of our offices have encountered some really interesting scenarios with their sellers that involve iBuyers. At the same time, I accidentally found a house that I loved and decided to move on very, very short notice. I think somehow you might have just stopped the Zoom. So hopefully we're still going. I don't know what's happening here. We're going to figure it out. Okay. Well, so go ahead and just cancel that right there. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's make sure it's not me and I'm logged in my account. Okay, that's okay. I'll make sure it is. Yeah, where's my account? Okay. Well, are you logged into my account? Okay. No, that's okay. Okay. So it wasn't me. I'll try and hop back in. So at any rate, I found a home I love. We wanted to move and move quickly, and I decided to use this as an opportunity to explore all of the different, I'm going to call them tools at our disposal, right? And that included checking out some iBuyer opportunities. So I'm going to share some of my experiences today as well. But I want to hear from you guys to start with. What brought you to this mastermind today? What are you looking to get out of our iBuyer mastermind?
I want to understand our iBuyer tools and how we compete with other iBuyers.
Jimmy, I'm going to ask you one more time to talk. Give me just a second. Okay, try again. He's muted now. Jimmy, will you say what you were saying?
Anna, we're having a really hard time understanding you when you're not standing next to the computer.
Can anybody speak up for me? Let's see if we can hear you guys.
Anna, can you hear us in here?
Anna, can you hear me?
Maybe their sound is turned off.
Fix it. There we go. Okay. Training room at Highland Ranch. Try one more time.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. To give you an idea. So just so you know, Anna, whenever you're not standing right next to your computer, it's really hard for us to hear you. So if you will repeat things that are being said in your room, it would be very helpful for us, and I will do the same for our room.
Awesome. Let me make sure that we've got the right microphone working too, because we've got a whole room microphone. So you should be able to hear me. Recording in progress.
Okay, that should take care.
That's better.
That should take care of all of that stuff. There we go. Okay. Hearing now?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. So we are working out the kinks in some of our new technology here in our training room. Thank you guys for your patience. Super sorry about that. But back to everybody, what are you looking to get out of our conversation today as we talk about the iBuyer space?
I was saying, I want to know what our options are with iBuyer and how we compete with other iBuyers.
Okay, so what our options are with iBuyers and how we can compete with them?
Yes.
Well,
I think for me in particular, it's what are these iBuyers offering? That way we can best educate our clients. Sometimes the flashiest offer seems the best, but once they dig into it, it may not be the best. So just some more information as far as what people's experiences have been with iBuyers going through the whole transaction.
love it. That transaction experience. Awesome. What else? Yes.
Good right now.
Cool. So today, if we are able to cover different iBuyer options, look at opportunities on how we can compete, explore the details within those offers. What do they look like? What can your sellers truly expect? And then talk about any transaction experiences through that. We would have covered this and we would leave happy and satisfied with our time today. Is there anything else that should be on the list? Cool. For those of you who couldn't hear me earlier because we were using another microphone, please, if you're in a place where you can turn on your camera, turn that on today. Let's have a collaborative conversation. We've got some folks live in both of the training rooms, and then I know we've got a handful of people on Zoom as well. So this will just help us all be able to get face-to-face and have more of a collaborative conversation. I led off with some of my recent experience. And so I want to share with you what I learned and what I went through, and we can go through some of the details of that as well. But the beginning of August, we unexpectedly found a home that we loved and decided to move. In that decision to move, a whole lot of things had to happen in really quick procession, right? We had to have our financial house in order to be able to make this happen. We had to come up with a compelling and competitive offer to win on very short notice. And we knew through this that we were going to have to sell our existing house, and that it was not our plan to keep that property. So we started exploring the options. Years ago, when Opendoor first came onto the scene in the Denver metro area, like most realtors, I got really curious about it. And so I did all this stuff. I registered on Opendoor. I signed my house up and kept getting the Opendoor offers. I registered on their app and I showed some Opendoor properties, right? I did all of the things. And then I kind of forgot about it for a while, except I was still getting their automatic emails and even text messages every 6 weeks or so telling me that my offer had changed, right? So they were the first people I went to because it was fresh on my radar. And so I went back through my Opendoor offer. I got a revised offer from Opendoor, and it was less than I thought I would get on the open market. Like I said, we weren't planning on making a move. So we had just refinanced our house and I had a fresh appraisal that was more than the open door offer. So I thought, okay, what else is out there? So I went through Keller Offers, became Keller Offers certified, and submitted for a Keller cash offer through Keller Offers. And I received an offer to purchase my home from OfferPad through Keller Offers. That offer was less even than Open Door. So I thought, okay, let's keep going and see what this is all about. So I submitted for a Zillow offer. Now, the Zillow offer came back at what my current Zestimate was, which was substantially higher, not only than the other iBuyer offers, but it was higher than what I thought we would get on open market. So that was curious. And just between you and I, everybody who's on the call, I had a brief crisis of faith, because in my head for a minute, I was about to sell my house to Zillow. And I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do that and show up for work the next day, right? Ken's looking at me here in the market center like, yep, that probably would have been a problem. And my curiosity caused me to follow that money trail. And so through all of that, I will let you know that we actually decided to go on open market, sold our home very fast for exactly what we thought it was going to sell for, and we closed on Monday. Okay, so all of that happened very quickly. I did not sell my soul to the Z guys. And I'll break down all of the numbers for you here in a minute as well. So that was on the sale of our property. And then to purchase our property, well, we submitted 2 offers on the property we wanted. The first was kind of our first effort. It was what we first were able to easily qualify for, which was contingent with a traditional 30-day close. The seller was incredibly adamant, as a lot are in this marketplace, right? That they were not going to work with a contingent offer. And the most important thing to them was to be able to move quickly. They wanted to close in August. And so this is already, we're already the first week of August at this point. So what are the options? So I started working through the lender that I had my pre-approval with, which was Keller Mortgage. I just refinanced through Keller Mortgage, so it was going to be an easy transaction. I also have a friend who's the area director for a little company you might have heard of called Knock. Knock offers a home swap program, which is a lending product that allows you to purchase your home before you sell your existing home, and be able to do so non-contingent. And so we went through Knock. I'm also Homeward certified. So let's look at Homeward, which, if you're not familiar with Homeward, they're another lending product that will actually go and purchase the home for you on your behalf, so you can buy before you sell. And we have some great in-house lenders here in our market center, and I have a really good relationship with our Guild Mortgage folks and Patrick Langhans. And I know that Patrick has some great solutions for people in my exact situation. So I called Patrick. And so I was able to explore all of these options. And fast forward to the end of the story, I went with a more traditional loan product through Guild Mortgage and our team here out of our office, and we close tomorrow on the purchase of our new home. Okay, so we were able to do this all very, very quickly and timely. And because of how everything worked out, we actually didn't need all the fancy loan products and all of those pieces. And so working with a traditional lender gave us the flexibility we needed to make this work. It was the right choice for us. And I can share with you some of the details inside of that. One of the pieces that I learned inside of this, and I tell you, this was like 3 solid days worth of work, right? Between figuring out all of these solutions. If I were my buyer or seller, if I were not the agent, if I were not able to take like those 3 solid, weekdays to be able to facilitate this transaction on my own, there's no way I could have found the solution that was right for me. So I mean, my biggest takeaway was, as professionals, we need to have these kind of conversations more often, right? So that we kind of know the outlines of these programs, who might be a benefit for them, what they do, what they offer, when they might be good, so that we can point our clients in a direction based on our consultation that would work really well for them. And it might be an iBuyer solution. It might be a creative lending solution. It might be any of those things that help make this happen. But most people don't have the time to do that homework, and don't have the expertise to look past the glitz and glamour in these products and see what they actually are. So inside of that, like I said, I'll go through some of the numbers and some of the details, but does anybody have any questions kind of on that and what's led us here today? Cool. Love it. Well, so right around this same time, I know agents in both market centers have been experiencing some issues with clients, with sellers, right, who are having a little bit of remorse from going on open market after Zillow's come to them with such an amazing cash offer. In fact, we've had some sellers who have wanted to terminate their contracts with the buyers so that they could sell their home to Zillow. And I know I see Donna shaking her head, right? Like this is a rough situation to be in. And yet I'll tell you, I had to make peace with the idea that I might be leaving $30,000 on the table by standing firm on my principles and going to open market and not selling to Zillow. You know, so if I weren't already a realtor in the real estate community, then $30,000 is a lot of money. And if I felt confident I could get $30,000 with a different buyer, then I might be challenged in my good faith, which of course is what we enter the contracts in. So I can understand sellers feeling that way. Obviously, your employing brokers are going to be able to help you through those conversations. Don't go at that one alone, right, Donna? You're like, yes, stay, get them involved ASAP. So let's explore this. Who's had experience working in the iBuyer space? You have either helped a client through an iBuyer transaction, or you have clients who were talking about an iBuyer piece, or you yourself have explored it for your business. You have, Ken?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I've submitted offers through Keller Offers on 5 properties this summer.
Okay.
In Atlanta, not here.
Yeah.
The takeaway on that is out of the 5, only one of them my buyer is accepting, or my seller is accepting that offer because they don't want to do any work at all in the house. Mm-hmm. And they're absolutely leaving some money on the table. But for them, it was more of a question of you know, the total value of what they're getting is more than they needed, and the lack of hassle because they're closing on a new construction. They don't want to have to move twice. Lots of other factors than just cost and price. But that's the one of 4 in the same situation that's done this. The other 3, the offers were low enough that I could show them they're leaving anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000, which on these homes is representative of anywhere from 10 to 20% of the value of the house. So it really is a thing that the key for us is when we go into that listing appointment, we ask them if they've communicated with any iBuyer or talked to anyone before the appointment, so that I can tell them we have access to that program through Keller Offers. And the beauty is that we'll be able to not just show you what the cash offer will be, but also show you what the market, if you go to market, will be, so you can make an informed decision which way to go. And that's keeping them from applying to 17 spots and doing whatever else they're doing.
So you asked very specifically, are you speaking to any iBuyers, or have you considered any of those options?
Have you talked to any internet cash buyer programs? Have you looked at that stuff? Yeah. Well, have you inquired about them? No. Well, we have access to that as well. So let's cover that when we meet. And that keeps them off the internet until you can get into that appointment.
Yeah. Yeah, because I will tell you, it is just like when you're doing anything else online, you open one door and it leads to another. As soon as we pushed the button to get our open door offer, my social media news feed, that's all I saw was get your Zillow offer or your Orchard or your Better or your, I don't know, all of the different ones. It was inundated with that. So it would have been so easy to just continue clicking through. Yeah. Interesting. Who else?
We have some experiences in this room.
Hi, Anna. It's Brooksy over here. So I had a buyer that, I worked with them on the buy side, but on the sell side, they actually went with their open door offer. They have 2 small kids, a big dog, and Open Door was offering them $50,000 more, even like after inspection came back and everything, than what I felt and a couple other agents in my office felt market value was. And then based on the statistics of the neighborhood, looking at getting like 15 to 30,000 over list price. And so between not even sure if we could match what Open Door was giving them, and then the convenience of not having to fix up their home, have showings with small kids, I had to advise them to go with the Open Door offer. I felt like it was the best solution for them. And then following that, right, you like see a huge Open Door offer that you're like, how the heck are they doing this? And then on the buy side, looking around at homes that were sitting on the market during a season where everything was going the first weekend and they were all Open Door listings, knowing that Open Door is literally buying market share and allowing it to sit on the market until they can get that price. So just kind of a crazy thing that's happening here. That was my experience.
Brooksy, when was that?
So they just closed on their Open Door offer on August 13th. So 3 weeks ago.
Okay. How long did it take them to go from offer to closing?
They kept it for 90 days. So they were offered that price in May. And then we had 90 days to find them the new home, and they closed with Open Door on the 13th.
Okay. Interesting.
Gary addressed this, I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday, because I was on a Monday call with him. And he basically made the point that even these internet iBuyers, when they talk to Wall Street, are pretty open about the fact that their profitability, or let's say their lack of losing money, is based on the market going up like crazy. It's not necessarily that they're making smart decisions. They are buying market share, and you can afford to do that in a market that's continually rising. So maybe it sits on the market, but you close 2 more sessions in the next 60 days and the values go up enough that they get what they need. And so they're not showing huge losses like that, but that's not sustainable as a business model. And sometimes we will have to advise clients that's the best thing for you, because the person buying it is not in the market, and that's great for you.
Yeah.
But it's not something that's going to be sustainable long term.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And there are so many different iBuyer models that I think are dictated right now by their end game. Some of the iBuyers, I don't know if they know what their end game is, or if they're just playing today's game. You know, I think about companies like Orchard, or even Open Door, maybe to an extent, right? Like what's next for them, right? But if you look at Zillow, they clearly have some sort of other end game, right? They're not going to be buying properties that lose money forever. That's not their business plan. If you look at like OfferPad, who we're partnered with through Keller Offers, and all of the other iBuyers that are partnered with through Keller Offers, they're typically investors, right? So they're looking to buy and hold as opposed to buy and sell. So so there's different players in the game that have a different model. Brooksy, what kind of involvement did you have with that open door transaction? Were you representing the seller the whole time, or you were just a voyeur and the seller was sharing with you what was happening?
I was mostly a voyeur, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But I have heard that in some instances, Keller or like Open Door and other platforms will offer to pay a commission if you're already working with an agent. So know that you could be more involved and still get a piece of the pie.
Tim, you had an experience?
Yes, so I had a listing that had some limited activity. We did get an offer, but we also got a Zillow offer that was far above market value. I mean, it was $20,000 higher than the nearest comp in the neighborhood that was superior to ours. So that's how kind of ludicrous the offer was. But I talked with the Zillow rep and kind of just asked them how are you able to offer this much more than market value? And her response was, well, we have our own lenders, appraisers, inspectors, everybody in-house. And it doesn't matter to us if we have to hold it for a while. So they just have that much cash to play with, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, so who else? Anybody else have any of those experiences or have a client who's considering iBuyer option?
I worked with a buyer. It's been a couple years ago, and that we went under contract on an Open Door house, and it was a night. We ended up not closing. We left at inspection. I mean, it was just a nightmare. The agent, I don't even think the agent was in town. I was extremely difficult. Everything was, I think the title company was in Las Vegas. It just, everything was complicated and harder, and it was so difficult to reach people with the issues that were going on, and they decided rightly to walk away. It was a flip. I think it might have been kind of a hoarder house that they flipped, and then, but they just, there were things they just didn't fix.
Yeah. For anyone who's been in the business for a while, right? Purchasing a home from an iBuyer feels a lot like purchasing a home that was bank owned, like an REO property, right? 10 years ago. If you haven't been in the business that long, then some of the things that we would come up upon as agents is that they kind of played by a different set of rules, right? So their timelines looked different, acceptance looked different. It's very different than purchasing a home from an actual person, right? When you're purchasing it from one of these entities. They'll typically include a lot of their own forms, which may or may not be compliant, may or may not make your managing broker happy. I know that that there have been several instances where where we've been advised to either not sign those or to have our clients seek legal counsel, right? Because they're not division approved forms. Their processes and timelines can look funny. They oftentimes disregard deadlines. Working with one of these entities when you're representing a buyer looks different, right? And so you've got to kind of take that into effect too, and prepare your buyer for that, right? Like, you're not negotiating with a real live human being on the other side. This is an entity or a corporation, and they're going to make decisions differently.
I have a quick question. Tim was saying that he asked him how they could do that, and he said they have their all in-house everything. How can they have in-house appraisers? I mean, I thought that we had government regulations that put a separation between lending and appraiser.
They're not lenders, they're buyers. They can have their own valuation however they want it. That's how they get around that.
Okay.
And one other reason why they're aggressive offering higher is they know the market is going up 10 to 15%. What these companies are very, very good at is looking at the macro data on a huge national level and the shortage of housing. And they can pretty much predict that, you know, this house, if I overpay for it or I make my offer in April and I give you 90 days to close, when I close, that home is closer to, you know, $30,000 closer to the 50 over I did it. If I hold it another month and fix it up, I'm making my money, or at least I'm not losing the money, which is what they need to show for Wall Street to keep giving them billions of dollars of cash to keep the program going.
Okay.
Right up until the time rates go to 4.5% and the market tightens, and then this entire house of cards doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Well, so what do some of the options look like? What are some of the iBuyers that you guys are familiar with that maybe we haven't mentioned yet? Who's a player in this arena who's not on everybody's radar? Did we cover them all? Or at least anybody who's kind of got their hat in the ring right now? No. But the next thing on our list is how to compete. How to compete. And so when I think about how to compete, I want to share a little bit about my Zillow experience with you guys, because we went all the way through the final offer process with Zillow. I did this after being under contract with a real life open market buyer and intending to close with that open market buyer. So I'm really sorry for the folks at Zillow, because I did intentionally kind of waste your time, not intentionally, but in the sake of research. I knew I wasn't going to sell my house to you, and we went through it anyhow. I said that out loud, so now my integrity feels a little bit better, and I did it for you guys, right? This was all in the name of good research. At the end of the day, we left only about $10,000 on the table, not working with Zillow, but we met our timelines. And that was far more important to us. But here's the biggest piece that I took away from this is in the how to compete space. I went into this Zillow offer process with, I'll tell you, my own bias on what I was going to expect. I expected to be treated like a number. I expected to be moved through the system. I did not expect a high level of customer service. And I was wrong. And I was actually quite surprised at what happened throughout the process. So first of all, I was assigned a Zillow advisor or something like that. And I worked with the same person the whole time, right? So I had somebody to call, I had their phone number, their email, I put a name to a face with multiple conversations, and it was always with the same person. Inside of that, our conversations never felt rushed. All of my questions were answered. When it came to the actual in-home evaluation, life showed up for, you know, the gentleman who was supposed to be doing my in-home evaluation, and he had a family emergency. And so they assigned somebody else, and the time changed, and then it changed back, and it kind of got messy for a second, but they recovered so well. Their customer service, I got so many phone calls. How did everything go? Is this change going to work for you? Everybody was going out of their way to deliver what felt like a really great experience on my end. And maybe it's just because I was expecting something very different, so they surprised me on that. But you know, the inspector treated my home with care, wore his booties and his mask the whole time, was incredibly, you know, conscientious while it was going through our property, unobtrusive. Like it was really just a lovely experience. And so, you know, when it comes to how do we compete, the very first thing that comes to my mind is, are we doing that? Right? Are we delivering something that feels like a high level consumer experience, or are we going in, you know, casual and unprofessional, you know, or rushing things? Are we stopping to answer all of the questions? Are we taking the appropriate level of time? So that kind of curiosity came to me. It was also a fairly easy experience. I had I'm going to show it to you guys. I have a Zillow Offers portal where I could see everything that's happening throughout the process. There's a lot of transparency. I can literally see every single thing they thought was wrong with my house. That was fun. And so all of those pieces, the whole process was lovely, except for the timing. So it was 3 weeks from the time I got my Zillow offer and had my first call with my Zillow advisor. It was 3 weeks before they could actually come to my property and perform the inspection, which is, you know, kind of it's a very specific type of property inspection that they do. 3 weeks, and then it was another 3 business days to review my offer. And then the earliest we'd be able to close was October 1st. So the timeline didn't match what I needed at all. So that's the first piece, right? Is what does the timeline look like? Have you put together a team of professionals that can help meet your clients' needs as far as timeline goes? Because, you know, regardless of what we left on the table, that timeline didn't match ours. It was a no-go from the start, right? When I looked at the finance options as well, I know this is the iBuyer conversation, but I think these kind of go hand in hand. These creative lending solutions are the iBuyer on the buyer side, right? They're the shiny object that looks really appealing to the home purchaser, the easy button, if you will. Knock was more like a traditional lending product. They were able to guarantee a 30-day close, but they would not move any faster than that. So that timeline was better, and it also wasn't working for us. I didn't go through the timeline process with Homeward, but I know plenty of agents who have worked with them, and you know, they quote like a 3 business day turnaround for their initial kind of pre-approval. The feedback that I've gotten from agents who've worked with Homeward is that's not true, or at least it's not true currently, and they're more like maybe a couple of weeks out on that process. And then you kind of have the communication and process inside of it. Once you are fully approved with them and you have a property under contract, it can move pretty quickly in about 2 to 3 weeks. But until you're at that point, it's a pretty slow process. So timeline is something really important and something to know about these guys. I'd be curious, Brooksy, with the offer pad or open door offer that your sellers took, how long was it that they went from the initial offer to having a final offer and inspection and all of those pieces?
Okay, so I'm not entirely sure. I think they had already gone through all of that before they even reached out to me. So they like had their final numbers, like had gone through inspection and all of that before they reached out.
Yeah. I think that's one of the myths about the iBuyers is that this is going to be quick. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be able to sell the property quickly. And in some cases, like with the offer pad offer through Keller Offers, once we got to the accepted offer point, we were about 2 weeks out to close. So that one actually could move quickly or more quickly at least. There wasn't as much red tape to go through. But I'd be curious about how long it takes to get to the red tape and then what happens. I suspect the timeline with Zillow right now is just due to a very, very high volume.
Part of it. The other part of it is they're making offers for values 3 months from now. They don't want to own it between now and 3 months from now. That's why they wouldn't let you close early.
Yeah.
Because they want that market to appreciate before they get the house back.
Gotcha. Yep. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
How much did they, relative to a traditional price, since you did both, what was the cost of inspection requests from a traditional buyer versus what Zillow wanted off their initial offer for their inspections?
Yes. So so let's take a look at the dollars and cents on this. And we'll put this up. You know what I might do so that everybody can see it a little more easily? I'm going to go ahead and put it up on my whiteboard here. Can y'all see my whiteboard eventually? Here we go. Okay. All right. So let's start my Keller offers. That was an offer pad offer. They were at $568, pretty much, give or take a little bit. $568 with just a 1% service fee. So we were a net $562 net on Keller offers. Open door. The attractive email that I got from Open Door that caused me to click was the highest offer they've ever had, or the highest valuation they ever placed on my property, which was $658. And then when I clicked and said, yes, give me an offer, that immediately got revised to $619,300. So a couple of things, right? In my neighborhood, there's been some stagnancy, particularly with Open Door offers, which is really interesting. They're sitting on the market there. And so I don't know if that impacted it or not, or what that looked like, but they were at a 5% fee. So my net there would have been approximately $588. All right, Zillow. Zillow started at $646,971. So not a shabby offer from Zillow. And then after they did our inspection, my final offer was $629,109. And after all of their fees and repairs and all of those pieces, we were at a net of $616. And that was October 1st closing on that. And I'll show you the portal and all of the repairs that they called out to. It really caused me to go internal and laugh a little bit. At any rate, so that's where we were at. Literally in June, I had an appraisal for a refinance, so we know how conservative those are, right? Yeah, so I had an appraisal for refinance that came in at $615. We sold on open market at for $625. And after paying co-op commission, which was the only expense to us, our net was $607,500. So a little bit less than Zillow, but we also closed in 18 days, which was awesome, and saved us money on the back end because we didn't have to use complicated lending products. We got to sell non-contingent. How
many offers did you get on the open market, and did you end up having to do any repairs, or was that?
Yeah, we did 0 repairs. We did not get an objection at inspection at all. So we did 0 repairs. They covered all of the closing costs for us. My husband and I have a very different threshold of risk, right? So we had, we had 12 showings in 2 days and like 4 more scheduled for Sunday. We received an offer on Saturday. My husband wanted to take it. We did. Would we have gotten more offers? My professional opinion, probably not. Our property is very unique. And in fact, we had a plan for selling. We had we're 3 bedrooms total, but 2 bedrooms up in a, like adjacent to a school pretty much. So it's a property that a family would like. Every single showing feedback, except for the people who offered, were, oh, if it had 3 bedrooms upstairs, blah, blah, blah. So we had a loft. And so our intention was strategically to turn the loft into a bedroom. And because we had to move so quickly, it just didn't happen. And we knew we were leaving money on the table and all of those things. We made that call. So I don't necessarily know that we would have gotten a better offer. Although my advice to him was to keep it on the market the rest of the weekend. We had showings scheduled. Let's see what happened. And that was too much for him. So we took the first offer. Oh, yeah. To the chagrin of all of the other properties selling in my neighborhood. And it is what it is. It was a great offer. Yep. It met our needs. Cool.
So I guess the question is, obviously your commission is less than a normal commission because it's one side.
Yeah.
So if you extrapolate that out to a full-blown commission, but then you kick it out 60 days to close, could you have matched Zillow's offer? I think so. Most likely. If the appreciation keeps going like it is, and you get another 2 to 3% on the next round of closings, which is probably on the lower side,
right?
You're going to end up netting the same as what they would do with an October 1 close.
Right.
So.
Right. Quite possibly. Once I have it up, if you guys want to see here, this is my Zillow offer. You can't see it. I bet you I'm still sharing my whiteboard. Yeah, I sure am. Pardon me. It's, I promise, not my first day on Zoom, even though it seems like it sometimes. Okay, so here's my Zillow offer, right? So came at $629. Their service charge 1%, estimated closing costs, the repairs. Didn't include an agent commission, but could have if I were not representing myself because the property was already under contract. That was actually an interesting thing. And it was about the only thing through the transaction that felt shady, if you will, when I was doing the final offer presentation with my Zillow advisor. He started in with all of the details for presenting the offer to me and an actual, purchase contract. And I said, well, we are under contract. And so Zillow would be a backup offer. And he says, well, if you are under contract, we won't be able to present an offer. And I thought, okay, end of the phone call. And he was like, let's continue, shall we? Right. And so we continued. And then at the end of the conversation, he continues to ask me, what year is the home built, all of those things so that he could prepare the offer. And I said, and as a reminder, this would be a backup offer, like we are under contract. And he says, well, I'll have to check with my manager to see if I can submit a backup offer. And literally, as soon as we hung up the phone, I got a text from him that said, yeah, my manager says I can submit a backup offer to you. So I was like, that's kind of used car salesman-y, isn't it?
No more than the employee of the buyer calling himself your advisor.
Sure, right?
That seems a little more shady to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a different conversation. The division has to have some sort of position statement on this sooner rather than later. So this is really interesting when you go into the repair summary. They break it down. So they had asked for about $3,800 worth of repairs. But you'll actually see all of the different things. Like they're charging me to clean the dishwasher, replace the damaged microwave. It's not damaged, the light bulb underneath is burnt out. Clean the cooktop, replace a damaged cabinet, which is also not true. There's like a little nick in the bottom of our, you know, sink cabinet, right? So all of those things, clean the oven. So they're charging me for a lot of things that
They won't fix.
that are just kind of, yeah, no, they're going to go on. That cabinet would have gone back on the market 100%. So it was really just kind of interesting stuff. This was the funnest part on the bottom. Apply Zillow 360 and you'll get $14,000 back when you buy, sell, and finance with Zillow. And then obviously the calculator to compare it to a traditional sale. And I updated this so that it matched. Oh no, I didn't update it. So they have some defaults in here that are pretty much designed for your client to make it look like it's more expensive to work with you, right? So that traditional sale, and so it's calculating your net and all of those pieces. So something to be aware of if you haven't gone through and got an offer on your own home from any of these places. I would 100% advise that you do that so that you know how it works and what it's going to look like on the other side. Cool. Let's see, we talked about iBuyer options. Let's dive a little more into how to compete. What are some ideas that you guys have as we've gone through this today that have come up or been an aha for you? Like, what are you going to bring to your business? How do you compete with this?
Hey, Anna, I have a question.
Yeah.
And it's probably been answered already, but I'm just trying to figure out how I can use this as leverage when I'm talking to people. Right before I got my license, I had 4 houses go up within 5 houses of me. 1 was on Zillow, 2 went with traditional, and 1 went with we'll sell your house for $2,000.
Okay.
Every house sold, including the Zillow house, but it's had a sign in the front yard for about a month and a half. Nobody's come to look at it. Since I can see what all the houses sold for, the Zillow house sold for about $50,000 more than any of the other 3 houses. And to me, it's less than the other 3. Now, I haven't talked with my old neighbor yet because I'm kind of, I really don't want to talk about money with them. But it says that Zillow bought the house from them for $677,000. The other houses in the neighborhood, the biggest one, went for $617,000. Zillow hasn't went in there and painted. They haven't done the landscaping. They haven't painted on the inside, fixed the floors. I went in and did a preview of it, and it's just horrible. So, and now Zillow has their price knocked down $15,000, which is $10,000 less than what they actually said they bought it for. So my question is when does Zillow actually close with that seller? And is the price that they're advertising on their website correct? Or is that the price that they initially offered, but then after they said they would go in and fix all this stuff,
Yeah. So let me see if I understand this, Jimmy. Your neighbors, whoever they are, sold their home to Zillow.
Yes.
And Zillow is currently has that home listed for sale.
Yes.
And it's still active on the market.
It is, and it's for $11,000 less than what it says that they bought it for.
Mm-hmm. So, and what website are you referring to when you look at what they bought it for?
Zillow.
At Zillow's website? No, you got to go to like Realist. You got to look at public records to see what that purchase price was.
Okay, now see on there, it doesn't show anything. So is that saying that they haven't exchanged money yet?
Probably not. If Zillow's got a sign on the yard and they're marketing for sale, then they own it. They own the property. It may just not have been recorded appropriately yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting though. Still on the market, doing price reductions for less than what they bought it for. And that's something that I think Open Door saw early on, because they were one of the first iBuyers here in the Denver metro area. We really have such a seasonal shift this time of year traditionally, right? Where there really is kind of a slowdown in appreciation, in movement, an increase in inventory in late summer, early fall. So I think that's really interesting. Sounds like they may have bought at the very top this year. Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, I'm pretty close with my old neighbor. I think I'm going to actually have a conversation with them just to see exactly what they did, because like when you're talking about repairs that they said that they need to do on your house.
Yeah.
This house hasn't been painted in 12 years. It's the worst looking house on the block. And the landscaping is horrible. The inside needs to be painted, and they didn't do anything before they put it up on the market.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, why don't you circle back around with us, share, with the group what you've learned on that. I think that'll help to kind of complete all of this learning. And we are straight up 11 o'clock. So we're going to transition. Highlands Ranch, I think you guys are doing your own team meeting today. If you are, feel free to hop off at any time. You might be hopping on another Zoom. If you're sticking around with the Park Meadows team meeting, we have a special guest, Broker Bay, joining us today. So we're going to learn a little bit more about the Broker Bay showing service solution that's going to be launching soon, and having a few other conversations here as well. Let's see. This is going to be really fun. How do I want to do this today? Probably just like this. There we go. All right. Did you let everybody in from the waiting room?
I did.
Okay. Woohoo! Go ahead. I was gonna say, as well. Go ahead and see all the people who've entered the waiting room. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, and admit all of them. Thank you. Awesome. Absolutely. Absolutely. We are going to figure this out today. Good morning, Park Meadows. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Yeah. Goodness. Yes. If you were planning on seeing a team meeting when you hopped on Zoom today, then you were in the right place. If you were not planning on seeing a team meeting when you hopped on Zoom today, then stick around. It's going to be a good one anyhow. We've got one more minute and we're going to get rolling. I need some background music. I got to figure that out. Plan ahead, people. That's the message here. Plan ahead. I don't have to fill all of the empty space. How is everybody this morning, by the way? It's so weird to not see your faces as I'm looking straight ahead at you. Hello. All right. let's dive in. We are here today to cover our team meeting. And we're having some fun with our tech setup. I've gone rogue, and hopefully it works for you guys at home. Just your TCPA friendly reminder, if you are doing teleprospecting in any way, shape, or form, make sure you are compliant with do not call and TCPA guidelines and rules. If you need a reminder what those are, you can Google, you can head to those websites listed on the blue links there. You can hop on the office policy manual and learn more about that. You know, Jess, do I have the right team meeting up? I think I do. I hope I do. She's gonna let me know. I had a busy morning, so I didn't preview it, so we'll see. Be prepared for unexpected health restrictions. Here's what we know right now, guys. We know that we're in an ever-changing environment, and while not all of us may agree with each other or with the regulations, as responsible business owners, we need to be aware of what those are and prepare everybody for a safe environment. So what does this look like? You know, we are so excited over the past couple of weeks to be able to get back together face to face and be together as a group. We know that a lot of you have kids, and your kids are probably in some variation of what's happening at school. I know there's a lot of kids who are quarantined right now, who are not quarantined right now, who are you know, doing a lot of different stuff. It is our intention to make sure that every single event we put on the calendar gets held, unless for whatever reason that instructor is not able to hold it. Like I know, you know, we had an event this week that we did have to reschedule due to for that very reason. But we don't want our regulations to stop us from delivering training, community collaboration, and value to the market center. So every single event that we have has a digital component. And what we're going to do is we are going to proceed with the digital component, and with Zoom being our primary engagement activity. And then once a week for team meetings on Wednesdays, we're going to continue to host those from the training room in person. So if you're looking for in-person community and collaboration, you want to be real live with the three of us who are in the room today, join us on Wednesdays for team meeting. Why did we make this decision? Well, I wish I could tell you it was something, you know, really profound or ethereal. Here's what it really is. People aren't showing up for things in person, and it's not fair for our instructors to make them come and do things in person when people aren't going to be here in person. So we're going to continue on Zoom until such a time where more people feel comfortable getting together in person. It's nothing personal. We're just looking out for everybody, and y'all raised your hands and said you liked Zoom. So that's what we're going to keep doing. Awesome. Who are we? We are the sum of our MVVVP. So our mission: careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. If there's a piece of that you need to add to your world or consider in your business, let's have a conversation about that. It's our vision to be the real estate company of choice for our agents and their customers. Our values: God, family, then business, right? It's about the priorities, and we put those in order. Ooh, going too fast. Going way too fast. I skipped over our belief system. I skipped over my t-shirt, the Y4C2Ts. Although my t-shirt is old school and it doesn't have the E in it. And I want to chat about the E really quick. Equity. Opportunities for all. This is the newest addition to our belief system. If you were in Mega Camp last week, you may have done some breakout sessions around equity, around having opportunities for all, around diversity, equity, inclusion, around unconscious bias, around some of those pieces. And when it gets down to the core of what we do as people, as business owners, as community leaders, right? Our relationships are with people. So can we better relate with and connect with people inside of that? So I know those were some of the pieces from last week that really stood out for me. We'll be bringing some of those same opportunities into the Market Center here by the end of the year. So keep an eye out for that. We are a technology company that provides the platform that our real estate agents and their buyers and sellers prefer. We think like a top producer, act like a trainer consultant, and focus all of our activities on service, productivity, and profitability. And we have some fun conversations today. Like I said, I'm going rogue. We're going to chat with our friends from Broker Bay, and I don't see a slide here, so I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. I think she's coming in on our system. There we go. Yeah, she's coming in on our Zoom. And before I get there, I wanted to chat with you guys about what's going on in the world right now, in the country, particularly in the wake of Hurricane Ida. If you guys have been following this, there's massive amounts of displaced persons, folks without power, damage, destruction. Like, this has been a real catastrophic event for particularly the folks in Louisiana. I know that our KW CARES disaster response teams are en route. Jessica, I don't know that I have it in the slide deck. Were you able to put together some of those resources for our people to be able to make donations today? Coming soon. Okay. So here's the intention. I want you guys to go to KW CARES, kwcares.org. kwcares.com will also get you there. Go to KW CARES on the main page. You can make a donation to the KW disaster response. Here's what they do. And we're all familiar, I'm sure, with KW CARES, but I'm going to give you just a snippet of who KW CARES is in case if you are not familiar. KW CARES is our safety net, right? They provide grant relief in the event of financial hardship due to a catastrophic life event. Sometimes those life events are illness, injury, could be a house fire, could be something like that. Sometimes those life events are natural disasters. So we have an entire team at KW CARES that's devoted to disaster relief and response. We have warehouses, semi-trucks full of bottled water, generators, like all of the disaster response needs that we have. Those trucks are en route and have arrived in some of the areas that need support in Louisiana at this point. They're setting up the mobile command centers. It is a big deal. And our KW CARES is run by the leadership of Keller Williams Realty International, in case if you guys didn't know that. They do that as employees of KWRI, which allows literally 100% of the donations to go to disaster response. We're not paying any overhead for that. Everything that gets donated goes right to the people, and we do it with as little red tape as possible. We're literally there right now on the scene. We work with local market centers as our centers of communication and command. We do our outreach and disaster recovery through those market centers, through the associates, through their family members, and through the communities that they serve. If you've been around long enough, you know that we even go to communities that don't have Keller Williams in them, because sometimes we're best equipped to help serve. So the The timeline of their recovery will look different, and their needs during that timeline will progress, right? Right now, the biggest need that they have is going to be in the cash donation that funds KW Disaster Relief to go and do what they do. So I implore you, please go to KW Cares, make a donation now. We're going to be able to put a link in a QR code in the chat here so that it becomes easier for you to do that. So go please make a donation. If you have a closing coming up this week, work with Market Center leadership if you want to make that donation directly on your green sheet. We don't do those anymore, but put it right on the DA. We can do that too to make your donation. These are tax deductible, and you'll be doing a lot of good for a lot of people. Over time, what will happen is the recovery efforts will change. One of the first things that can be helpful after, after infrastructure is restored is going to be things like Walmart and Home Depot gift cards so that people can, with very little red tape, go and take care of the emergent needs that they have in kind of restoring life in their households. What we'll end up doing here over the next few weeks is partnering with some local market centers who've been impacted and working with them directly to render whatever aid we can, adopt any families that we can, and to be able to put those pieces together. So look for that information coming soon. And today, make a donation. Yes, make a donation. Okay. All right. So did everybody make their donation? Are we good to continue on? I want to see heads nodding. Yes.
I've already made mine.
All right. Let's roll, shall we? Do I have our partners with Broker Bay and RE Colorado on with us today?
Yep. I'm here.
Oh, there's Kim.
Hello.
Hey, hello, Kim. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you? I
am so good. Kim, we're going to go ahead and spotlight you so everybody can see you here.
Okay, great.
And you, my dear, are, there we go, are welcome. I don't know if I actually did that right. Hold on. Let me try this one more time.
I think you did that right.
Did I?
I think so. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Yeah. Let me try this out here.
I pinned her. I didn't spotlight her.
Oops. Okay. Are you? Oh, looks like you can see that on your screen.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. And everybody can hear me okay?
Yep.
I am Kim Ayer. I am the new business relationship manager at RE Colorado. Thank you so much for having me this morning. I'm really excited to share with you our sneak peek of Broker Bay. So this morning, I'm going to be going over how the partnership with RE Colorado and Broker Bay was formed. Then I will give you a sneak peek of all the great features that Broker Bay offers. I will go over the next steps for the onboarding process. And then finally, I'll let you know how you can get more information about Broker Bay. So our partnership with Broker Bay is the first time that we've had an enterprise level deal with a showing management service. So we're very excited about that. During the selection process, we reviewed close to 20 different showing services because we wanted to make sure that the product we selected met the high standards that we have for all of the products and services we offer to our subscribers. And we also wanted to make sure that we were going with a proven full service showing management solution. So our goal with this enterprise level deal is to provide a common tool, not only for RE Colorado subscribers, but for all real estate professionals across the state so that everybody can be as efficient as possible. And the best part about it is that Broker Bay is included with your RE Colorado subscription. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the sneak peek. This is your agent dashboard. It's the first thing you'll see when you sign into Broker Bay. It provides a streamlined view of your listings and lets you know if any actions need to be taken. On the left side of the screen here, you will see the desktop version, and on the right, and on the right side, you'll see the app version. So as we go through these slides, you'll be able to compare the two versions. So back here on the desktop version on the left, you'll see your listings. And this is where all your listing information is integrated from RE Colorado Matrix. Next, you have a widget for your appointments, and this is for both the buyer and the listing side. The next widget over is for your tasks. This is where you'll be able to see if a listing needs to be configured or if an appointment's been requested. And then finally at the top here, you'll see that there's a section where you can chat with your team. And the last widget down there on the bottom left is for your contacts. This is where you'll add your clients, and you can also add vendors. So this would be, carpet cleaners, roofers, you name it. They can also be added there under your contacts. And next we have a section for your brokerage. This is where all the listings for your brokerage are kept. So you can stay up to date with what your colleagues are working on, and you can also stay up to date about any open houses that are coming up. You can see that's the second tab over from listings just under my brokerage. The last thing I wanted to point out in this section is that you have access to a haves and wants message board. So if you're looking for something specific like a vendor or maybe even a rental property in Denver, you can let all of your colleagues know about that here. I think a lot of people currently use private Facebook groups for this messaging, or maybe even Slack. So it's really nice that it's integrated right here within Broker Bay. Next, we have the admin dashboard and queue. So if you're out on the road and you don't have access to your phone and you need emergency help setting up showings, your admin can jump in here and help you out. On the right side, you'll see the admin queue, and everything that's highlighted in red just shows when an action needs to be taken. So if you have a listing that needs to be configured or a showing appointment that needs to be approved, your admin can go in here and take care of that for you. Next, we have listing configuration. And this is what you'll need to do every time you set up a new showing within Broker Bay. On the left here, you'll see that you have your minimum showing notice and your maximum showing duration. And that maximum showing duration comes in 3 different time increments: 50 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. So if you have an entry-level listing, you'll probably want to set that 15-minute showing duration because you'll have a lot of potential buyers. On the other hand, if you have a land listing or a luxury property, you might want to set that time at 1 hour so that your clients have the opportunity to see all the features of the property. The last thing here on the left is just that you can toggle on and off if you want to allow double bookings. Next, over to the right, this is where you're going to add who can approve showings. So if you have clients that are spouses, or maybe a landlord and a tenant, or even parents with a teenager who's home from school, you can add all of those people here and then add any notes if necessary. One thing that's not included on this slide that I wanted to make sure I mentioned is if you were looking at this on your actual desktop on the webpage and you scroll down, you would also have access to a calendar that allows you to set the day and the time when showings are available. So if you have parents who are getting their kids ready for school during the week and they don't want their property shown before 9 a.m., you can block those times out in Broker Bay. On the other hand, if they are okay with their property being shown from 9 to 5 while they're at work, you can make those times available within Broker Bay. Going back to the slide, under showing agent instructions, this is where you'll have your lockbox integrations. Broker Bay is integrated with Supra, SentryLock, and Master Lock. So it makes it really easy for you to assign lockboxes and codes right through Broker Bay. You don't have to go to multiple systems. They're all integrated right here. Another great feature under this lockbox section is if you've ever shown a condo or a high rise and you walk up and you see a ton of lockboxes out front, Broker Bay allows you to take a picture of your lockbox, upload it to the system, and then circle it so there's no confusion about which one's yours. And then finally over to the right here, you'll have a section where you can turn off your add if you need to turn off your lights, remove your shoes, or leave any other instructions from your seller. Next, we have your listing view. And this is where all of your property details are kept, including your property photos. And this is all integrated right from RE Colorado Matrix. And one thing I did want to mention on this slide is the integration with the Matterport tours. And you can see that little icon there on the right. And this is a great feature that allows you and your client to tour the property online in real time. You'll be able to walk through the property, talk to each other, see each other. So you can take your client over to the kitchen to show them the cabinets, and then your client can take over control and walk you both to the backyard to check out the landscaping. This is what your MLS booking experience will look like within RE Colorado Matrix. On the left side, you'll see the single line display, and that Broker Bay icon will show up right there next to the listing ID. And the next section over, you'll see this is your full listing display, and the Broker Bay icon will be under the main listing photo. Some brokers may choose to continue using showing time, and if that's the case, you'll see the showing time icon next to that listing ID, and we've got an example of what that would look like over on the left. And finally, on the right, I just wanted to mention, if you haven't already, please download the RE Colorado app. It's a great way to have all of your listing information right at your fingertips, and you can approve showings right from your phone. Next, we have listing feedback. This is a great way to get information from your buyer's agent to share with your client. So if you have a property that has a kitchen that needs to be renovated, or maybe there's a crack in the sidewalk out front that needs to be repaired, that's information that you can take from the buyer's agent to share with your client and hopefully avoid some of those potentially difficult conversations. This is the seller dashboard. So what we've covered so far is on the broker side, but the seller has their very own dashboard. It makes it really easy for them to approve appointments, which you can see on the left here. In the center, we have the section where your sellers can add any notifications that they want to receive. So if they want to know if their property has been booked, confirmed, canceled, denied, or had a time change, they can toggle those on and off and be notified by SMS message through the app, text message on their phone, or email. And they can also have all of their appointments, all of their showing appointments synced with their personal calendars, whether they're in Google, Outlook, or iCloud. Next, we have broker chat. So this allows you to chat with brokers, not only within your own brokerage, but also other brokerages. So if you want to let people know if you've had, if you're running late for an appointment, or if there's been a price change on the property, you can just use it really easily through this broker chat. And it allows up to 20 different users within a chat. And anytime anybody sends a message, they can be notified by text message, email, or SMS message within the app. Another great communication tool within Broker Bay is that there is a way for you to message all of your showing agents at once. So you can do this by either using a preset template message, or you can create your own custom messages using these blue smart links that you'll see down at the bottom here. So how those work is you would take all the contact information from your showing agents, put it into an email, and then you just drag and drop those blue smart fields. And the blue smart fields will cover things like your listing photo, your listing address. You can even drag and drop a link to all of your listing details. So it's a really easy way that you can message everyone at once. You don't have to send individual emails, and you don't have to look up all those property details. They all will auto-populate for you. And no real estate tool will be complete without market analytics, and Broker Bay has a very robust set of those. You can view things like market trends, you can compare your farm areas, and you can also get real-time data about your showings. Does anybody have any questions before I get to the onboarding process? I'm not hearing anything, so I can wait till the end if you'd like to ask your questions then. How the onboarding process is going to work is your managing broker will claim your office, which Donna Evans has already done for your office. And so the next step in the process will be onboarding, and that will start in the early fall. And that's when you'll get trained on how to use the full system within Broker Bay, how to configure your listings, and you'll be paired with a Broker Bay onboarding specialist during that time who can answer any specific questions you have. Once your office launches, then you will be able to, you'll see the blue Broker Bay icon in your matrix display, as I showed you a couple slides earlier. And at that point, you'll be able to contact RE Colorado customer care as you normally do for any additional questions that you have about Broker Bay. Our training team is also currently working on an in-depth training for Broker Bay, so stay tuned for information about that. One other thing that I wanted to mention is that all of the tools that we've covered so far, all of those communication tools, the text message, the SMS message within the app, and the email, so this is within the desktop version and the app, that's all included with your RE Colorado subscription. And all of those communication tools are built to be very user-friendly and intuitive, so that hopefully you would not need to have a live call center. However, you do have the option to set up a live call center during the onboarding process when you're working with that Broker Bay onboarding specialist. So we do, Broker Bay offers very competitive pricing for that live appointment desk. On the bottom of the slide here, you can see that desktop and mobile app only version is included with your RE Colorado subscription at no additional cost to you. If your brokerage decides that they want to offer the live appointment desk for everyone in the office, that can be done for $8 per active listing per month. And if individual brokers would like to purchase the live appointment desk on their own, that would be $20 per month for unlimited listings. So just wanted to let you know that that is the only feature within Broker Bay that is not included with your RE Colorado subscription. And finally, if you would like to learn more about Broker Bay, we have put together a ton of tools for you. We've got blog posts and emails and flyers and videos. So if you'd like to access any of this information as we lead up to the onboarding process, you can go to your Connect dashboard and click on the blue Broker Bay icon. It has a little coming soon ribbon on it right now. It'll take you to a landing page that has all of this information. So please feel free to visit that. And just a reminder that we have a fantastic customer care team that is available to you 6 days a week. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to them. And that wraps up my presentation. Does anybody have any questions I can answer today?
I have a question, actually a couple of questions regarding the call center. Yes. For the additional $8 a month per listing. Mm-hmm. So if our office chose to do that, would we be able to, first of all, change that at any point and kind of toggle back and forth if we wanted to try it out, is my first question. Mm-hmm. And then the second question would be, if we choose not to use the call center option, would we still get help if we were having a problem with the system itself? Or is the call center kind of an all or nothing? Or is it just for scheduling those actual appointments? So just a little bit more clarification on that call center option.
Yes, I can explain at least the second part of that. If you need help, once your office has launched, you will contact RE Colorado customer care, as you do now with any of our services, products and services, so they can help you out if you have anything, as you're working in the system. For the live appointment desk, I'll have to look into whether or not you can toggle that on and off. I'm not quite sure. It's my understanding, and Amy Todd is from our product team and probably can help out with a little more detail. But I believe that it's just for setting those appointments. But
yeah, I can jump in here. You can cancel that at any time. So you aren't like locked into a contract or anything like that. If you do want to try it out at the brokerage level for about a month and see how that goes. If you do decide to turn it off at the brokerage level, any of your agents can sign up directly for that $20 per month cost for all of their listings. And the live appointment desk is only to schedule showings. Like Kim said, you'll call RE Colorado customer care for support.
Hi, Sally. Yeah. Hi. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So just for clarification, if for whatever reason, because we all know as good as any app can be, there could be challenges. So if we're scheduling the appointment through the app, we don't have the additional $8 per listing fee on there, but there's an issue scheduling through that app, we could call to make that appointment just if there's issues, even if we don't have the $8 per listing per month. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep. You would call our support team and they can assist you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification.
Sure.
We have a flyer on this that I'll make sure that I send over to your office so that everybody has access to it, just with a little bit more detail about that live appointment desk.
So it looks like it's almost a CRM where you're adding in, your client's data and so forth. At the end of the day, who owns that data?
I can jump in here, Kim. It's very similar to Showing Time, where you add your contacts to the showing details. At the end of the day, Broker Bay offers the product, but it is your data. They don't have any rights to do anything with that data, just like our data in Matrix, and nobody can access your contact details in there.
So is there a way for me to delete client data once I've sold the listing?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Do you know the ownership breakdown of Broker Bay? Do any of our competitors own a piece of Broker Bay or anything?
They don't. They're a privately owned company. They're based in Canada. They are not owned by any people in the real estate market. It was actually started by a gentleman named Costa, who started out as a real estate broker in Canada.
Does anyone else have questions?
Okay, one last question.
Sure, yeah.
First of all, thank you for taking your time to come out and show this to us. You had mentioned onboarding is early fall. Do you have a schedule for that? And that will be the entire office, or will you be doing individual onboarding?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. It's sort of a rolling process. So it's really up to the managing broker for each office to determine what that launch date is going to be. How it's going to work is we'll send the onboarding email to that managing broker and they will select that date. And that's the date that everybody needs to hit to make sure those listings are configured, to make sure that everybody is going to be trained. So it's really, I can't give a specific date because it's really up to that managing broker to decide, if that makes sense. And hopefully we'll also be sharing more details as we get closer, but that's the process currently.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Anybody else? No, I think that's it then. Well, thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to get started and can't wait to share more.
Wonderful. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming out today. We are excitedly awaiting the launch. Obviously, by bringing you guys Broker Bay, our brokerage has decided to make the move from Showing Time to Broker Bay. When that happens, obviously, we will be letting everybody know. You'll have all of the warning we can possibly give you to make this transition as easy as possible. And as an agent, you can, if you choose to, continue to work with Showing Time. That is completely up to you inside of that. And, you know, the team mentioned that there is that appointment desk option. Thank you, Adrian, for getting some clarity around what that looks like, but we want to hear from you. Let me share my screen here again. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. You guys should see a QR code, not QR code, QR code, goodness. URL. Yeah, one of those fancy UPC things you scan with your camera and it takes you to a magical spot on the internet. The magical spot on the internet this will take you to is a survey. Let us know what your thoughts are on the appointment desk. Do you currently call your showing service to set showings? Is that a feature that's really important to you? We want to make this decision in the way that best serves our market center. Keep an eye out on Friday's newsletter as well. We'll be sending this this survey out to everybody, even those who are not here at the team meeting, so that you can take it. Let us know, would you use the appointment desk service if we were to continue on with that? So any more questions or comments or anything else before we let our guests from RE Colorado and continue on with their day? All right. Looks like you guys got off the hook pretty easily today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. And I hope to hear from you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, and thank you, Jessica. I just don't think I went far enough in the slide deck here for you guys. Here's that QR code for KW Cares and the disaster relief efforts. I pulled these pictures this morning from a team leader colleague of mine, Stan, who's just outside of New Orleans, who obviously their market center and their people have been impacted. And this is what's going on this morning. You can see that this was not long after sunrise today. The trucks are loaded, gas cans, fuel, right? batteries, generators, drinking water. Those are some of the highest demand items right now as water and power supplies have been impacted. Look at those pallets and pallets of generators. That's awesome, guys. So I wanted to share that with you.
Did we lose any market centers? Or did they?
Not that I've heard of yet.
This was last time we lost 3.
Yeah, and I think that there's still so much that's inaccessible that those reports might still be out for a little while inside of that. Yeah, so donate to KW Cares. Help us out inside of that piece. Let's see, what else do we want to cover today? Hey, agents, I firmly believe, nobody's trying to fight me on this, but I hope they do come at me one of these days. I firmly believe that you guys are the best agents in the Denver metro area. Yes, our KW Park Meadows office has professional, highly trained fiduciaries working for their clients, and it's an honor to be in business with all of you. We have several real estate teams inside of our market center that are growing currently. They are hiring administrative assistants, agents, buyer's agents, listing agents, showing assistants, all of those pieces. So we wanted to open up those opportunities inside of our office first. If you're an individual agent who's ever considered the opportunity of being on a team, or if you are one of those teams, let's start a conversation about what your needs are and help you find the best fit for your business. Feel free to reach out to me or the Market Center leadership team directly to have those conversations. More opportunities abound. We are currently seeking a talented individual for a permanent spot at our front desk. Amy's been working very hard on assessing the market center and the agent's needs to determine the who we're looking for. And as we get closer to finding that who, we have some temporary opportunities at our front desk as well. So if you or someone you know is looking for, some flexible part-time administrative work, see Amy right away. We've got openings coming up here in the next week or so. So we want to work with you or someone you know, trust and love. If you think you know somebody who might be a great fit long-term for this permanent fixture inside of our incredible office, let us know. In fact, some of the most amazing, talented people I've had the privilege to work with on our leadership team and our staff have come by way of referral from you. So you guys know some incredible people. We'd like to know them too. And I bet it'd be fun to come to work with them every day with them. So keep an eye on that. Oh, back to school. Kids are back to school and so are we. I say that with a grain of salt because, some kids are doing different things right now. Here's the reality of that. Our business has changed, right? The message may have changed, but the methods of which we do business have not changed. They're constant and steady. And we want you guys to have the opportunity to get back to pouring into your business. So over the course of the next several weeks, as we continue our back to school event, you will find a training event every single day that you can participate in live via our Zoom audience. Starting with today's team meeting, our team meetings will be hosted in person and on Zoom. With our huge in-person audience, our team meetings will still continue to be in person and on Zoom. So if you want the opportunity to get like face-to-face, I was going to say belly to belly, but we're still not getting that close to people.
Did we before?
I don't know.
I don't think since I've been a part of
some people do business differently, don't they? let's look at that there. But so if you're still looking for that opportunity to come into the office and be a part of an event, we invite you to join us at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays for our team meeting. All of our other events are going to be hosted on Zoom only for the time being, as the climate, starts to, move and shake. We'll move and shake along with it. So just keep an eye out on that. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on that training schedule as well. Let's see. I think we were prepared for like 20 minutes worth of questions for Broker Bay. And we simply didn't have them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open this up to you guys. What kind of questions do you have really quick? And then I want to share with you some really fun experiences that I've recently had in my own real estate adventures. And I promise it's worth it. So stick around for that. But let's open this up. Questions, comments? Somebody didn't think it was worth it. Bye. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about your tool belt for your buyers and sellers. And I have a very kind of impassioned message for you guys. I encourage you all to thoroughly explore the vast array of options buyers and sellers have in this market that you can be their guide through, right? On the iBuyer side, there are several options for sellers to be able to sell off market with what is claimed to be a fast cash, no hassle experience, right? They aren't always fast. They aren't always no hassle, right? Yet you should know what some of those options are. In many cases, you as the agent can help your client through those options, right? So, so you want to explore things like Keller offers, right? Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow offers. What are some of the other ones right now? Orchard. Who else are we?
Is Redfin in
we're thinking of? Redfin could be inside of that. You should at least know. I would put Redfin more on the competition side and the discount brokerage side, but they do have a fast sale program, right? An iBuyer program. So that would be something to look into as well. Other tools in your tool belt would be creative financing solutions. If you have a client who wants to fill in the blank, do you know who can help them do that from a financial side, right? If you have a client who really wants to buy before they sell, do you have financial partners that can help that happen? Are you aware of different solutions for that? Did you know that there's a whole lot of different solutions for that, and it can be incredibly confusing? So can you help your clients navigate that space? If you have clients who are looking at investment properties and want to keep their home as an investment and move up into something else, do you have partners for that? If you have a client who needs to make some repairs or take care of some deferred maintenance before they go on the market to get top dollar, do you have partners for that? If you have clients who are looking for investment opportunities, do you have partners for that? Do you have partners for, for fix and flip, for, what's the words that I'm looking for? Do you have partners that can help your clients get into wholesale opportunities, right? There's so many different areas to investigate. And so one of the reasons that I brought this up is I recently accidentally found a home and decided I wanted to move on very short notice. Brittany chuckles a little because it was just like that.
That's what happens to me too.
Yeah, you know, they made the mistake of letting me go on vacation, and Jake asked me what happened, and I said, I just don't relax well, so here we go. And I digress. Fortunately, I was on vacation. And so, you know, so I had some free time to explore a lot of these opportunities. And literally 3 whole days later, I finally was able to navigate this ocean of solutions and find what worked best for our situation and our family. And my biggest aha was, if I were just a traditional buyer or seller, there is no way I could have managed that. I would have had to take like vacation time from work, right? Just to apply for mortgages and get cash offers on my home. Like it was incredible. You know, I had to take pictures of my own home and submit them onto a variety of different portals. And what one portal wanted pictures of, the other portal didn't care about, but they wanted pictures of other things, right? So I got to, you know, clean my house really quick and take photos of it a few times, which was super fun. I got to navigate through representatives and advisors from other companies to talk about different lending products and different essentially fancy bridge loan solutions, right? And what resulted from this, and what results statistically from 9 out of 10 people who look at these options, I went to open market with a traditional lender. Crazy, isn't it? But it was a lot to sort through to get me there. And if I didn't already have at least kind of a good idea of what these different solutions could offer, then I would have ended up wasting a lot of time. And I would have found my real estate fiduciary, my advisor, my real estate agent, a lot less valuable if I were navigating that water on my own. So, so that's kind of my soapbox right now. Do you know what's available? Have you explored it? Do you have an iBuyer offer from every single iBuyer out there on your own home? Right? Have you become trained and certified with the different lending solutions? Are you familiar with Knock, who we are bringing in to have certified home swap agents in our office? Knock will be here. I don't think we have a date yet, but here within the next few weeks. Homeward, right? Have you talked to them? Have you sat down with your lender? I'm under contract with Guild Mortgage here in our office. We close tomorrow, right? Have you talked to them about the solutions that they can offer? Are you prepared to share with your clients what that looks like? Have you gone through Keller Offers? Are you certified there? I submitted my own property to Keller Offers and received an OfferPad offer that was at least on the table, right? It was something to consider. And as an agent, I would have been able to represent myself. I would have been able to represent a seller who wasn't me, right? Throughout that entire transaction as their fiduciary. Do you know how to use those tools at your disposal? Can you help your clients navigate those? You know, Homeward, have you gone through the Homeward certification process? Are you familiar with what that looks like? Have you explored financial options like Keller Mortgage? Have you talked to a loan advisor? I know we had Troy doing a live stream for our office. Was it last week, right? Have you had a consultation with Troy to talk about lending products for your clients? Have you explored, oh, there was one more that I was just thinking of. I keep seeing them online. Better Mortgage. They're kind of this new shiny object in the mortgage world. They're claiming to not have appraisals and therefore have taken the appraisal gap conversation out of play. I mean, really, it's shiny objects, right? But are you familiar with what those are? Because here's what's going to happen. As soon as your buyer or seller starts getting interested in buying or selling, what happens to their newsfeed, right? The same thing that happens when they get interested in buying a new pair of shoes. Their newsfeed gets full of shoes, right? When they get interested in buying and selling, their newsfeed gets full of things that help them buy and sell. And if it's a product you're not familiar with, you know, they'll get click happy really quick, and they may end up really far away from the best solution for them and just really infatuated with shiny objects. We have Ken in the training room with us today, and Ken, you shared you know, just kind of the conversation that you have with all of your sellers earlier in our mastermind. And what's that question that you ask them, and how do you frame that as you start working with them?
Well, before I go on a listing appointment, I ask if they have seen any of the cash offer programs online, or if they have applied to any of the cash offer programs online. And if the answer is yes, we talk about that. If the answer is no, I tell them, well, we can cover that in our meeting. We have access to cash offer program through Keller Offers, and we will describe that process to you. The beauty of going through our system is I'm allowed to advise you as your agent in that process. So it's worth your time to speak to us about that before you go off on your own looking at everything online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that effectively like helps them pause all of the button pushing, right? And it's a great way to be able to frame that conversation and know exactly what you're getting into when you get to the listing table. It's an interesting environment, right, for real estate buyers and sellers. And I'm so grateful that we accidentally, you know, went through this process here. And, you know, I think any realtor who goes through the buying or selling process during that time thinks, gosh, I should do this more often. I kind of forgot what the challenge was. I kind of forgot what that is. So, so if you haven't put yourself in that situation recently, either take advantage of this great market and upgrade your property right now, or don't do that and just explore some of those options so that you can really have relevant conversations with your buyers and sellers. And be able to see things through their eyes inside of that piece. Well, as we wrap up, any questions from our live Zoom audience or any questions from our live training room audience? We are crickets all over the place. I love it. It's been a pleasure, guys. I look forward to seeing more and more and more of your faces, either live in the training room or live on the Zoom. We'll see you guys all very soon. I'm going to let you go grab some lunch. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you, Anna.
Thanks, guys.